Hey there, and welcome back to the Second Lunch podcast. I think this is episode 29. Adrian Beltre, that's a number. I saw Guns N' Roses on Saturday.
Oh, sweet.
That was really fucking cool.
See, I had tickets when the Pandy happened, and then they ended up canceling it. So I'm glad you ended up going. How were they?
They were really good, and it was kind of weird because I was expecting more, you know how people who do a lot of coke get kind of that pug nose thing?
Oh, yeah.
I was expecting a lot more of those types of folks.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of parents. And
bear in mind, these are people that are still able to afford tickets to a legacy act. You know, when your nose collapses to cocaine like you're Artie Lang or something, it's, yeah.
My mom wasn't the only person with a cane there. I'll say that.
Well, even the band members at this point, like Appetite came out in what, 87, 88. So even if they were all 20, I mean, yeah, they're not old, but
Axl's
that would put you
definitely
at
a baritone now.
Yeah.
That was one thing I noticed. I was like, oh, that's a little deeper than usual.
Yeah, exactly. He's lost some of the weight that he had on during like the Rio de Janeiro show when they came out in 2002. And I'm not judging, fat guy here, but that definitely, I think it's easier to maybe hit those higher notes when you're like a 140-pound snake as opposed to right. You put on that weight, it's just like it feels more natural that you would be hitting the lower
was
note.
it the drummer's girlfriend he fucked and then recorded it on what fucking song on Appetite for Destruction is that on?
Oh God, I don't know.
Rocket Queen.
I thought
in the middle of Rocket Queen, there's a girl having an orgasm. It was one of his bandmates.
See, I thought that detail was urban legend, but maybe it is.
Oh.
Maybe it is real.
It sounds like Axl.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing is you've got to attribute
more like asshole. Anyway,
you've got to give those urban legends to somebody where it fits.
Right. I thought this was going to be like a drinking show, right? So I had probably 5 beers on the way.
Yeah.
And I roll in there and like everybody's sobs, which I'm not going to judge you if you're a sober person.
No, there's a pretty good chance we're going to be rocking like an 8-year chip for health reasons somewhere down the line.
Right. Right, yeah, but I was the one pissing everybody off to get up and get beer because everybody was sitting, by the way, which was not what I was expecting.
Everyone is simply too old for this shit.
Yeah, I've never been the one pissing off people with how much I have to pee. I'm always the one getting annoyed at somebody else getting up and scooting out.
I am the worst kind of person to have around. That's why I was really grateful that when I went to the boxing match in Vegas, I showed up. Those events are like 8-9 hours if you go for the early fights, but all the glamorous fancy people only show up for like the last fight. So I only had to step over folks, once to pee. But yeah, you're in like a 3-hour GNR show. Who opened for him? Anybody of significance? Or was
I don't know. I was in the longest merch line of all fucking time. There was a line for the merch line. It was crazy. Almost all my beer had worn off.
This is like it's like a bad 50s joke. But like, no, this is my harsh reality. This isn't a joke at all.
It was messed up, dude. Before we even left, because I assumed it was going to be like we're a lot of drinking, I was taking shots of Pepto like I would tequila.
Oh, God.
Boom, throwing him back, getting ready.
Is there anything more alarming? So seeing a guy chug a pint of, like, Jack Daniels in the pit, you'd be like, ooh, that guy's got plans. If a guy chugs Pepto, is that guy more dangerous?
Yeah. Well, it coats your stomach. You're a free man.
Yeah,
exactly. You can chug whatever you want.
He's not going to have heartburn at all. He's going to be ready to fucking go. Because I mean... My diet's improved a bit, but my body is aged at a faster rate where the heartburn I get could take me down. I may not be able to fight through it. I may get DQ'd.
You guys get in the pit and I'm going to go take a nap.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't be awake with this type of heartburn.
I ate a banana and I'm going to be fucked up for about 36 hours. Yeah.
Let's just go right into Tinderella questions.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I didn't have that totally loaded. All right. Chris, if you could be a fly on the wall, who would you want to listen in on?
Somebody angry. Or Kevin James. It's kind of the opposite way, but I feel like he's probably just a smart ass all the time. And I've never seen somebody so on brand. Always. Like, I think that Kevin James is what you see is what you get. Like, that's just Kevin James.
Yeah. There's not more to the onion than that. There's
Right.
just additional
Ray
onion.
Romano is similar. Like, that's another guy who's like, I just got to see what this looks like in a different setting. I don't
Yeah.
like what it looks like at home.
To that extent, that's a good way to describe it. If that's the way, I'm saying Larry David for sure. It's like, I gotta see
that's a good one.
if it's as Seinfeldian as it's described. But no, that's a great one. Part of me is thinking like Ozzy or Keith Richards.
Right.
I mean, we got to see Ozzy a bit, like on the Osbournes. There's something special about seeing a rocker like that, like make eggs. We're just like, like, because
Ketchup.
Yeah, for you and I, there's no like, oh, I need to compose myself to do this. But when you live the life Keith Richards,
You really got to pull it together to make
omelet.
eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Staring at your fucking pan out of two fucking bloodshot eyes. Like, okay, let me get this figured out.
My septum's barely holding on.
Yeah. They're not going to let me to the Guns N' Roses show at this rate. What do you eat when you're sad?
What don't I eat when I'm sad? I realize I go for Asian food, but depending on how much I really want to punish my heart based on sodium, if I'm real sad, I'll go for Panda Express.
Oh, yeah. That's also befitting. But see, that's how you get what we call a negative feedback loop. You want to get out of the sadness. And when you put Panda Express...
No, you got to feel it, dude.
Oh, see, but
Put
that's
on
how
some Matt Nathanson.
That's how you get deep enough into it. Yeah, my Elliott Smith records. Blow the dust off these once a year to really get robed up. No, you get too deep into it. Now I'm not eating anything. This is why I'm on fucking Zoloft. I had to remember what
I thought you were going to say Metformin.
That's yeah. I don't think you know what that medicine does. I think you're attributing more to metformin than it's capable of. I would say for me though, if I'm sad and just like fuck it, I don't care anymore. Cereal, because cereal's not food.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've had that discussion. I won't rehash that bit. But there's no redeeming part. Like if I eat Thai food, like I'll get the steak salad. It's like, hey, I got at least got a few veggies in there or something. There's a chance I can lie to myself when I eat too much of that. There's no lie to yourself with Fruity Pebbles. You've already told yourself some harsh truths to get to this point. There's no
We
more.
got to stop and talk about the use of the word salad, because that term really gets thrown around.
Yeah, even the Thai steak salad certainly is pushing
My
the
favorite
boundaries.
is when people bring pasta salad to something. It's like, you just didn't heat up pasta. That's all that this is.
Yeah, Ashley
this is not salad.
Ashley makes a great pasta salad, but when somebody asks for a salad, that's not appropriate.
Yeah, you can't bring them.
No, you got to bring greens. You got to bring roughage.
Yeah, they would be pissed off if you brought a fruit salad, and that's infinitely closer to actual salad than pasta is.
Well, this is coming back to the hot dog sandwich argument. Like, sure, maybe technically you could argue it's a sandwich, but if you told somebody, oh, I had a sandwich for lunch, and they said, what kind? And you said, oh, a hot dog. You'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why didn't you call it a hot dog?
I think about that a lot, because at some point, if the bun is still attached, it's got a hinge.
These are
That's what
nuances.
prevents it
It's
from
got a
being
hinge. Real open sesame stuff going on here. Fantastic. No, but it's like there are nuances of human language. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways.
I do appreciate it, though. Like, I don't know, meat and salad.
Well,
somebody asks me what I mean, and I can say salad, pasta salad. Sure, but I don't need to know the pasta portion of it.
What are those heinous the Midwestern salads that have like Jello and or marshmallows in them?
Yeah. You're talking about Thanksgiving at the Moran house is what you're talking about.
See, when you've got the marshmallows on the yams, that's one thing to do once a year, but you start integrating Jello.
Why are you trying to get rid of all these marshmallows? Huh?
It's
suspicious.
It's like the same reason they're shoving all the candy corn off on us one time a year. We don't get rid of it now. We're up shit creek. Because I
can't imagine eating candy corn in July.
The mini marshmallow people, in addition to your yam whatever, they've also got Swiss Miss season, but they know when they hit February, They're not moving those mini marshmallows over. All right, it's s'more season.
They're like, shit, we got to start making peeps.
Yeah, this is basic economics. Okay, you're not making peeps with the fresh marshmallows. That's like how they invented Worcester sauce. They left it in a barrel underground for 4 years. Those are your peep marshmallows.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they were trying to replicate, allegedly, part of this is probably
the most random shit. I
apocryphal,
love this.
but they were trying, some British folks were trying to replicate like Indian foods flavors they had tasted, which they can't even make good British food. So really bold.
They settled on they must bury it.
Yeah, aim for the moon, you might hit the stars, right? Yeah, so it just didn't go well, but in keeping with the hygiene standards of the time, they just put it in their basement instead of disposing of it. And then 4 years later, they were like, this is actually pretty good. Not what we were going for.
Yeah.
Definitely not like a curry-flavored thing. But, yeah, those are your peep mellows. They're sitting in a barrel.
How drunk do they have to be to taste that the first time? Because I would have some resistance. If somebody's like, hey, this is buried in the yard for a couple years. We're going to put it on dinner tonight. How do you feel about that?
It's definitely very bold because it's not even something like, it's not like sausage where it's like, yeah, we have many centuries of doing this. By that time, like we've kind of figured it out. This is just like onions and shit you left out. Like there's no precedent here, but I mean, Tabasco sauce, like I think they let their peppers sit and ferment for like 4 years or something before they make Tabasco.
Jesus
it's a pretty long stretch. But at least peppers are a little bit more, they're sort of resistant to a lot of shit growing on it. You know what I mean? It's a little different when it's just like onions in a barrel.
I didn't know any of this. I've had 2 sauces ruined for me today.
Right. Okay, I'm sorry to have done that. Let's move on. I won't make you more sad about this. What's the most important spice on the spice rack?
God damn it. Oh, that was really natural, actually. I don't know. I'm going to say, I know this isn't really a spice per se, but it's on the spice rack. I'm going to go with red pepper flakes.
Oh, yeah, that's valid.
The best way to add heat to anything without really cranking up, without really needing to start taking shots of Pepto.
Yeah, you can also do a little sprinkle of the cayenne, but no, that's a good answer. For me, I got to go cumin because you can do a lot of Mexican stuff and some Asian food. I don't even really have a joke here. This is just important to my lifestyle.
Just want people to know.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on back to comedy. Just wanted folks to know that. What if you were an artist? What would you paint on your first day?
Cock and balls, obviously. I feel like you got to start with
like
what
a
you know.
Photorealistic
and I
one,
still
or are you going to
haven't perfected. Oh, dude, how many different ways can you draw a dick?
Oh, millions.
You
know how many different types of folks I've seen in paintings? You know, all sorts
I thought you were going to say, you know how many different dicks I've seen?
Well, that too. It's a permutation, right? Different
Some look
styles
more
of
like
paint.
mushrooms than other, for sure. But yeah, you really... I mean, I feel like that's an obvious starting point because it's very easy. I don't know, like weird smiley faces or something. Smiley faces in places they shouldn't be.
See, I would go with... I'm going with animals doing... Like, dogs playing poker, right up my alley.
Yeah.
If I'm able to draw, like, kangaroo making the omelet for Ozzy because Ozzy can't get it together, like, that's what... Ozzy in the background just trying to stabilize. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Because I feel like if you're doing some goofy shit like that, too, you might be able to get a commission or two.
True. I mean, who is the... You probably know this. Who was the artist that first did Dogs Playing Poker?
Oh God, I don't remember
that person's made a killing, right? I just hope they got the rights to
I don't know. I don't know how some of the pop art, you know, the mass produced, like in some cases those folks made a lot of money and others not sure.
How did you even come up with that? Were you playing poker and then you had to see all your friends to the door and then you turn back around and you see your dog sitting at the table and you just go, ha!
Or it's a reflection of just a lonely person who's just like only got their pets around and is just like
actually playing poker with his dogs.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, I wish I could do this. Yeah, that's okay. We'll move on to the next one. Who is the worst teacher you've ever had?
I won't say her name, but when I was a junior in high school, our teacher literally in the first week of school, just decided, fuck this. I'm going to go work for the district. I'm sick of working with kids. And he pissed off. And then we got the sub. And I remember he was like, it was his last day. He's like, she's great. She's been a teacher for 30 years. So we're like, oh, we're getting this great teacher. She comes in, bro. It was one of the most gnarly people I've ever seen. I thought for a second her teeth were made of wood. That is just for starters how this is my first impression. And she also would like Jack Daniels, she would put her foot up on the front desk.
Captain Morgan.
There we go. Jack Daniels, right. Captain Morgan, that makes way more sense. We were just talking about Jack though. But she was a little too short for it. So it was like her knee was like also by her chin. It was really like trying way too hard to be cool. And she was also just a horrible, like she was not good at teaching. We would like read something and she couldn't like explain it. It was history too. So I guess, I don't know. I always kind of need something to connect dots, like compare it to something else so that I could remember it. Because otherwise you
need like a mnemonic device.
You're just throwing information at me and it's never going to stick. Yeah. I don't fuck it. It happened more than 300 years ago. Doesn't matter.
There's a few things that matter from before, but yes, I'm gonna need
name one. No. So yeah, that was. Oh, and then one day she randomly started talking about guns, and she was like, "Yeah, don't come to my house. I'm armed to the teeth." And then she showed off her fucking wooden. I'm pretty sure they were wood. Maybe they weren't, but God, it was so weird.
I wasn't gonna come to your house.
Why would I ever come to your
house? So worst teacher, I don't know if I would say worst teacher because the person was nice, but because it's definitely related to the person you brought up. Definitely most ill-equipped, least equipped for the job. It was my AP US government teacher who had been the German teacher when German was still part of the curriculum. And then that was eliminated. Then they were like, how about AP U.S. government? That's basically the same. I was like, yeah, fire it up.
Why was German ever a part of the curriculum? Were we just really scared they were going to take over? And we're like, we better know what they're saying.
You think it was a form of placation? No, I don't think that we went that form of appeasement. But yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting that it was like Spanish, French, Japanese were because of the use, I get it, but yeah, it's kind of a random three at the same time. But yeah, I can't include myself in this, and I may have brought this up before, but some of my friends definitely invented a student and would continually refer to this student who never existed in an effort to convince the teacher that there was somebody named Ronald Burke.
Come on.
Who
That's
needs
great. Who's named Ronald? Of course he's fake.
It's yeah, it's a good bit to, especially because it really wasn't working, and so to really just hammer it when they're not buying that this person.
God damn it, Ronald! Stop texting me during class.
Yeah, Ronald couldn't make it today, but played a big part in the prep for this presentation. So make sure to give him equal credit. Okay, moving back to the standard agenda here. Headlines, Chris.
Hell yeah. So we're going to do headlines again. This was fun last time. Again, I just feel like, certainly me and probably our listeners are not as in tune with the news as we need to be. Okay?
Yeah,
so, headlines.
This is what people are coming here for, surely.
Right after the Pepto shots. Logan Paul sets record for most money spent on OnlyFans after win against Dylan, is it Danis?
Yeah.
$1.6 million he spent on Emma Conti.
That is
how is that? I did some additional research.
Yeah.
I went to this nice models page.
Are you $1.6 million lighter in the pocket?
Bro, even if you get a year subscription, it's less than $85. How the fuck? How many feet pictures did this guy need? I don't even know how there had to be weird butthole stuff or something. I don't know how you even spend that much on one person.
I do like the idea that you're extrapolating that dollar amount to what he paid. Like, all right, well, he's got like 9,000 months of service now. that's an outstanding amount of money to spend after
It seems impossible.
after the worst fight I've seen in recent memory.
The other thing I was thinking was, how long did that take? Did he just go on there, rapid fire, get everything, or did this guy just have a marathon?
This is just sending. I think that you're thinking too much about like paid services here, Chris. There's not like I get this for 1.6 million. No. That is giving somebody $1.6 million.
Oh, so you're saying he just gave it to her? He didn't...
Basically,
okay.
yeah. I mean, it set the record
because I've been horny with a wallet before. When I was in college,
you're overthinking.
I believe that these models should be paid for their services, so I like to pay site here and there. And what I would do is join it for 3 months and then call my bank and be like, I don't know how this happened. So they're going to give me the money back, so I still get it for free.
At a certain
but
point,
these models still get paid.
At a certain point, though, that's like fudging your report card, where it's like, you got 18 A's. Like, we just don't believe this. Like, how many people are stealing your card expressly?
Cole, you're
to use on
underthinking
pay
this.
sites?
You change banks.
It's
Suck at Wells Fargo.
You change banks. But yeah, also 1.6 million, that is approximately equal to the 1.6 punches per round that Dylan Danis threw.
You're way more mad about the fight than...
Oh, absolutely. 100%. No, I don't care. I mean, OnlyFans, again, get your money. Good for that person. Probably
I'm
better
not going to make $1.6 million in my
pocket
life, and this guy spent it just cranking it.
I feel far more comfortable with this person having the money than whatever Logan Paul would do with it. So, in that sense, I endorse it.
Okay, here's a fun one.
Yeah.
FBI agent Robert Hansen, assigned to hunt down an FBI mole, was the Soviet-linked mole himself since 1979. This gets a little bit more fun.
I like how we're taking a headline from 22 years ago. When he was captured in 2001.
FBI agent Robert Hansen it's still news. It was news at one point. Mm-hmm. Was tasked with finding a mole in the FBI.
He died like last month.
When in reality, it was him the entire time. While covertly working for Moscow on and off over the years, he was paid $600,000 in cash and diamonds. Of course, Russia's like, we don't have it all in cash. We're going to have to give you some diamonds we got from another deal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a great, under the table form of payment. Yeah. Do you know how much they paid the person that they didn't actually even give the name Robert Hansen to the FBI, but gave a recording of him? Do you know what they paid that person?
$1.6 million.
Multiply that by about 4.3 and you're there.
Jesus.
7 mil for that one piece of evidence.
I gotta start getting involved with some of these
ne'er-do-wells. Yeah. Yeah. If you knew like Aldrich Ames, that's another one of the big ones that committed, serious espionage. But
I'm going to have to finally release my DB Cooper information.
Yeah. The crazy thing, Aldrich Ames, similar story there, although his situation was a little different. Part of the reason he needed money, and it's cited repeatedly, so him and his wife were living way beyond their means of a normal FBI agent, but they repeatedly cited the thousands of dollars per month in collect calls she made back to Central America, where she was from. Like, I had no idea that the collect call game was such a racket at that point. Like, that would have a staggering impact to your finances. Like, calling home is just potentially going to be way more than rent for you. Yeah, exactly. This is going to exceed your mortgage by a huge margin.
All right, here's another one. Suspected bomb on Panama City flight was actually an adult diaper.
Now, the person whose diaper it was right there. And they were like, do we call the bomb squad, or like, can anybody own this? And they were like mortified. They were like, calling the bomb squad.
Whoa, how'd a bomb get in there? That's crazy.
Yeah, wild stuff.
Imagine being on the bomb squad and you get called in. They're like, there's a bomb in this bag. And you go in, you could probably call your wife or your husband. I don't know. And
nice save there, Chris. Really progressive
and
stuff.
You say, hey, sweetheart, I might die here. In just a couple minutes. I just want you to know that I love you.
And then in Joe Dirt fashion, you get covered in human shit. Well, you didn't make it clear. So did they find out before detonating it that it was a diaper, or did they blow it up? And then it's at that point, the evidence is clear.
That was not clear from the article I read. It just was like...
Of course, I'm the one that wants deeper poop information about who was exposed here to the biohazard.
Authorities in Kenya arrest a fake lawyer who won 26 cases in court. Let him be a lawyer.
Yeah, I think at that point you've basically... I mean, I know in... what's the Joe Pesci movie I'm thinking of here? We were talking about it last week. Yeah, thank you, My Cousin Vinny. In that, he actually did pass the bar on like his 11th try or whatever. But I feel like that's basically the My Cousin Vinny lawyer, where you...
Right.
At that stage, you've proven your worth.
He was winning. I mean,
Yeah.
Isn't the point of the bar just to prove that you have a competent lawyer?
Yeah, I mean...
I guess we don't know his record. He could have been 26 and 500. We don't know that for sure.
If he got away with 526 cases, then that's on you at that point.
Right.
You let him pitch that many innings,
Right.
then that's...
I mean, even 26, even if he went 26 and 0, at some point you would have thought somebody would be like, this guy doesn't seem to be using the right terminology. I don't think... He doesn't know any of the laws. He's just making a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, that's what makes me think that he was probably pretty well self-taught, as opposed to, like, me just going on the internet for a few days and being like, objection! And they're like, on what grounds? I'm like, I only know objection. That's really all I had here. Objection, I'm starting to lose. Feel like I'm losing the room here.
All right. Bear invades Connecticut home and immediately steals frozen lasagna from fridge. It does say immediately, but they also mentioned that... So the woman got a notification on her phone. It was her house. Got a notification that said the fridge door was open. So she gets on her camera, and apparently the bear was wandering around the house for 35 minutes beforehand. So
Well, then it wasn't immediate.
it wasn't immediate at all. He worked up he got a little hungry.
Yeah, 35 minutes.
And then went for the fridge. I don't want to be too accusatory here, but this bear's done this before. If he knew what the fridge was even about... if he knew that there was food in there.
Yeah. And at least you know it's a bear and not a person dressed up as a bear, because you'd be firing that in the microwave. You know?
Yeah.
And some of those frozen lasagnas are like 20-minute ordeals, you know, like a frozen pot pie. If you throw that, say he was on oven time, this bear now needs to be here 70
that's why it
minutes.
took 35 minutes. Exactly. You had to wait for it to get to 425. God damn these electric... what was he doing for 35 minutes? I was more interested in that.
What part of the...
He was testing all the beds. This one's too soft.
Yeah, the Goldilocks deleted scenes. Did you see the story?
This toilet paper's on backwards.
I'm gonna have to change these for these people. Underneath, are you
Charmin
serious?
bear, we do not look like that.
Did you see the story a few years ago where a bear trashed a campsite when nobody was around, like nobody got hurt, but it had drank like 2 Miller High Lifes and then drank like 24 Rainiers. And there were no Rainiers left, but there was a good amount of High Life. And when they got back, he was asleep in the tree because even though he's a bear, his tolerance probably isn't so great. But I love that he developed a preference. Like within about 4 beers, he knew what he was up to.
He's like, this is what they think the high life is?
Fuck
no,
this.
It's sleeping in a tree.
Yes.
Okay, we got one more. 11-year-old boy saves a choking classmate and a woman from house fire on the same day. 11-year-old Oklahoma boy Davion Johnson saved a classmate who was choking and also pulled a woman from a burning building, earning him praise for his bravery. What a day.
Yeah, that's...
Is that a lucky day or a really unlucky day?
I think that's one of those you have to call in hindsight. Like, you know when a center shoots a 3 and we call that a no yes shot, where you're like, oh God, and then, you know, when you see the 11-year-old run into the burning building, you're like, well, sorry, Davey.
He had a good run.
Yeah.
Got a little too much confidence after saving his classmate.
Yeah, he saved one person today. That's still pretty good numbers.
At what point do you start thinking you're Superman? Because...
the third one. A third one, that's too much. Yeah. Third one in the same day.
Just a really cool day.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
And also, I mean, if I'm going based on Pokemon elements here, he's got to be saving somebody from like water or perhaps a lightning strike, because he's saved them now.
Well, he got air. Guy was suffocating. Is that what?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I would call that. And then obviously the fire rescue. So, somebody encased in ice or something.
Oh, somebody drowned that day.
Perhaps
and
David
he could have
Blaine.
done some more. I don't know. It seems like
So we're putting it on him. There were 4 deaths in his county that day.
Sure, he saved 2, but 4 died.
3 of these were heart attacks.
Yeah, I don't know. Bad luck following this kid. It's a little suspicious, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah? You think he's fucking torching the place?
Yeah.
All right,
Burn it to the
Davion.
ground.
I'm going to remember your name. I'm going to see if I find out some unbreakable shit about you down the road. All right. Oh, yeah, okay. We got a Mike story. Been a little while.
Has been a while. I thought we
Yeah.
were out, but apparently it's never ending. So
Yeah, no, tell me about it. It's felt that way for a long time. Mike's stories about my dad. This one is his neck surgery. So Mike is a very hard worker, but he is also a big fan of the get-rich-quick scheme. And those things can...
I cannot tell how this is related.
they can coalesce a little bit, and that is by deciding to go crab fishing for the first time when you're like 36. Because if it's a great year of crab fishing, yeah, you can make a lot of money.
Snow crabbing going to be around forever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, had we known at the time in 2003, no, everything was looking up. So he goes on the fishing boat, and him and the captain immediately start like drinking way too much, and I think they ate all the painkillers in the. Yeah, well, it's time to party. So, and that becomes important. So, part of the way into the trip, Mike gets smashed by the intoxicated captain with a crab pot into another crab pot.
God.
This should have killed him.
But luckily he was fucking hammered.
Yeah, I mean, presumably, yeah. And also, we were talking about Keith Richards earlier. Mike's got a little bit of that.
I would love to see Mike make it.
After this, he did not have a pulse in his left arm because it was so smashed in. You couldn't like detect a pulse there. It was like, isn't that how your arm falls off? But I don't know. It was just that's how it works. So, anyways, so he gets smashed. There's now no painkillers to help him cope with this in the middle of the Bering Sea. Yeah, truly like a boy who cried wolf scenario come to life. Oh, you need all the painkillers, do you?
A boy who cried Vicodin.
Oh yeah. So he gets all smashed up. Eventually he has to have a total of 7 surgeries. 2 of those were just for carpal tunnel, which they found at the same time, and they were like, when in Rome, your body is shattered. But one of them involved him like taking out a rib and all this shit, and they fused every
rib,
2.
huh? That's what they said it was for?
Yeah, right. You're going to create a woman out of this shit? I hope this isn't biblical, because that person's going to have real developmental issues. So they fused every 2 spinal, whatever, C1,
Vertebrae.
C2, yeah, vertebrae, C3, C4. And then he's on crazy painkillers. And this is 2003, like 2004, peak Sackler family, like just doling out painkillers. Nobody gives a shit. There's some stories about that addiction we could talk about later. But he was so fucked up, and he's in a full halo. So his neck is, bolted to his skull. And he's just completely out of it and goes down to the hotel lobby naked. But this is a hotel that they put people up in that are recovering. So it's not just like...
It's not the first shaft they've seen that day.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. The average Howard Johnson, you will see...
The good old hole joke.
You will see some nude people who do not have a medical explanation for it. But yeah, they had to like kind of pull him off the walls that he was trying to climb. But again, he's naked with full halo, which has to be one of the better... That's almost like when you're setting up a character in a video game. You're like slowly getting the guy dressed. It's just like... Shit, all I've got is underwear and a fucking knight's helmet on this guy. Yeah, and then he ended up, suing the captain and all this shit, but because...
Oh, he sued the guy who gave you free drugs, man.
Yeah, right? That's a Vika don't.
Oh, man.
He did not win. He did not win his lawsuit.
See, again, because I still haven't met your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I hear a story like this, it's not... If it was only this story, I'd be like, wow, that is an unfortunate thing to have happen to you. But there's so many of these stories.
Oh, yeah. Like, could have happened to anybody. But it happened to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did he do in his past life that he had to take everybody's bad things and...
I walked under every ladder that ever existed. Like...
with a black cat.
Yeah, whatever your fucking worst superstitions are. We're at 35 minutes, Chris. So we might have a little time at the end. I'll go to another Mike story if we do. But I'll go with what is the thing that you're most mad that you thought we would have in the future that we don't yet have? Like as a kid, was there some...
I was sure we'd have flying cars by now. I'm glad we don't. The more I drive, the more I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, ground is enough of a challenge.
Yeah, if these people were in the air, you know how many people would just like... Can you imagine people are just going to start crashing through your ceiling in flying cars? That sounds horrible. You don't even need they're supposed to be coming out with a flying car in like 5 years or something, and apparently you're not even going to need a pilot's license. Terrifying. Terrifying.
They say that now, but like in what countries will you not need a pilot's... Like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Right, Russia.
It's
just Russia.
Turns out they don't have the same administration.
They're going to shoot you down.
Yeah. If time doesn't. If gravity doesn't just pull you back to the earth for your...
It just seems like there's a lot that could go wrong.
Yeah, like every part of it.
Right. We're adding more gravity to the situation.
Yeah. We don't even force people to like breathalyze themselves when they get into the car, so it's like...
Why don't we figure out self-driving cars first? Did you see that thing in Austin where there was like dozens of self-driving cars and they all got stuck? Like at one intersection, they didn't know what to do, so it just stopped. And nobody could drive.
I think you may have answered your own question on the why don't we figure this out. It is a challenge. It turns out not as easy as the Silicon Valley people
So let's stay on the ground until we can get this sorted.
I'm mad we don't have slam ball courts. See, I was told I would be able to jump on a trampoline and shatter my femur inside of get my leg trapped in the hoop.
There's easier way to get painkillers. Did your dad talk you into this?
No, not these days. They'd be like, slap some mud on it. They've gone the other direction.
Slam ball is so cool. As a large man, I have some serious distrust for trampolines.
Oh, yeah. No, they're not made for us. No, it's like me I'm too old to try to skateboard. Can't do that.
Yeah, I'll be Coach Slam ball.
Yeah. Dunk on that guy.
Yeah.
Block the shit out of
Don't
that
get from higher.
All right, I think that we've got all the stratagems we need for, being over. What does a slam ball court or a slam ball coach pay? It's got to be a few Subway gift cards.
3-4 slams. Couple Denny's Grand Slams.
3-4 slams. Slam is a currency now? That means they're paying the slam ball athletes in like mine scripts. Where, like, now you're kind of indentured to the slam ball organization because they've only been paying you in slam ball dollars. Oh, I'm in the pockets of big slam ball yet again, just when I thought I was out.
Oh, how red am I right now? I feel pretty red.
I just can't. You're like living in the slam ball community. It's like being in the fucking gulag. Yeah. The bennies here are not great. There's no way those guys have dental insurance. All right. Gucci or greasy? Setting a clock ahead.
So greasy.
It's the worst thing.
It's the most greasy thing I think you can do.
Ashley's old car had her clock set, like 3 minutes fast or something.
You're just asking me if I want to do free math. It's math without a purpose. I don't want to do it. Okay, well, I'm on time because this says it's 50. Okay, so if it's 15 minutes ahead, then I'm on time. Well, just fucking be on time.
Well, I also...
Get up earlier. What are you doing?
Well,
Who's this for?
If it's in your car too, then to keep that reality from being shattered, you would need to then
You're
start
really
changing
pushing your
clocks in the
problems
house.
onto other people too, because you either have to explain it to everybody as soon as they come in, like, hey, just so you know, we set our clocks 15 minutes ahead here. We've decided that's easier than just being 15 minutes early. So just so you're aware, you're not 15 minutes late. It's just the way that we live.
Yeah, that's a lot for me to remember. See, at the dispensary, they noticed that I got a haircut the other day, which means that's a big indicator on frequency that you don't want to. So yeah, for me to remember that my own clock is correct is enough of a challenge for me. But yeah, the car clock, you can't even set an alarm by. Yeah, I never understood the purpose there. So I'm going greasy.
Absolutely greasy.
Yeah, we have leap days and these things for
I
a reason.
can't even be devil's advocate here. I can't think of a good reason to do it. It's just wrong.
Frustrate relatives. Upset loved ones. Okay. Wikipedia this week, we're going to talk about Unsinkable Sam.
Okay.
Unsinkable. So take a guess as to what Sam is.
Sam is a sailor man.
You know what? You're half right. Sailor part you have nailed.
So he's not a man.
Not a man.
Sailor woman.
Not
Sailor
a woman.
person.
Not a person.
You really painted me into a corner here.
Yeah. With the rest of the animal kingdom.
Who else? Some kind of animal.
It's got to be some kind of animal, and you've got to
And I'm
think
guessing because it's sailing, it's not an animal that is supposed to be in the sea.
right, but also it's got to be like reasonable
Is
to
Sam
be
a
in the
dog?
sea. No, but you're in the right. You're right there with
Good name for a dog.
I know, right?
Cat.
Yes. Unsinkable Sam
Knew
is a
it.
cat. And Sam survived the sinking of 3 different ships.
Was he a black cat?
He was a tuxedo cat.
Stop bringing this cat on the boat. Get him out of here.
Yeah, if we're saying that the sign of like a good or bad day for that kid where it's cosmic is 3 of them, the third ship going down.
You have to imagine. In fact, I think probably after the second one, if not the first, he was probably like, I'm not going on there. And somebody dragged him aboard. I'm starting to feel bad for the cat here. Unless, of course, it's his fault. Can you imagine? He's like, why do we keep getting on these things? They sink.
So I will say,
We might drown. I hate the water.
yeah, and he was owned by an unknown crewman. Only 100. The first ship he went down on was the German battleship, the Bismarck. So bit of a Nazi cat. But
Okay.
but
Nazi cat. I've never thought that. Okay. Anyway,
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess who's to say how ideologically attached he was? But Bismarck was sunk. Only 115 of her crew of over 2,100 survived the engagement. So Sam, pretty lucky on that one.
somebody's like, save the cat.
Now, one thing,
Or did he swim? He or she.
it's I think.
The cat.
Yeah, we'll go with the. Oh, it does say he was. Yeah. Okay, so it's a boy. It does say the cat served on board. The night
Served.
shift, which indicates some higher
He had a
purpose.
job.
Well, I do know
What
cats.
was his rank?
Cats just like 10 Downing Street, or like the Prime Minister of the UK lives. There's a mouser there. There's an official mousing cat. So I suppose that's the reason. Keep the mice out of your fucking hardtack or whatever. And then, so that ship went down, killed 159 of the crew.
Jesus.
But made it again. And then at this point, he had a nickname. So this cat was now...
He was already unsinkable after the first one.
The second one. Second one he became, they were like twice. That's enough. And then, but to your
Let him
earlier point...
retire.
Yeah, to your earlier point, they said, have a few more. And after the third one, though, they let him retire. They said that's enough. He lived out his days in Belfast.
Right.
So
Who knows how many boats would have gone down if he carried on working? Jesus.
And there's an official portrait of Unsinkable Sam. So
How far apart were all these sinkings?
the first one was in May of 1941, and then the final one was November of 1941. So 3
In a fucking year?
Let me tell you, the Germans in.
I don't even stub my toe 3 times a year.
I don't want to spoil anything, but the war did not go great for them.
Okay.
On a long
That's
enough
a good
timeline,
point.
it started to turn.
I wasn't. See, again, history was not important to me. So
Yeah.
Not,
That's
not closely paying attention to the year. They were like, why are all these ships sinking? Oh, well.
that is totally fair.
Well, good thing he wasn't on a submarine. Would have been worse.
I think one. Let me go back here. Was one
No
of these
fucking chance he was in a submarine and got out.
So the last one was absolutely not a submarine. I can tell you that. What was the Cossack? I mean, this isn't important. This isn't making for good for good podcasting here.
This is where we're going to play the music.
One was a destroyer. Yeah. And one was a battleship. So yeah, no submarines, but nonetheless. Okay, so we're going to go to This Week in History. We've got 3 for this week. First one, October 10th, 1964. Tokyo Summer Olympics opening ceremony is the first to be relayed live by satellites. What is your favorite Summer Olympic sport? I think we've talked winter before, so summer.
I'm going to have to go with none of them. I don't relate. I don't relate to what are you doing outside? It's hot out. Go home.
It is funny that isn't basketball a Summer Olympic game, and it's like the one time of year we don't play basketball. It's like June to October.
Yeah. Shoot, I don't know. What's the one where they like run around at like an obstacle course and then have to shoot stuff every once in a while?
Are you talking about the modern pentathlon?
I have no fucking clue.
The 5-banger, and it's got like
it makes no sense. I don't understand the practicality or why it exists, but
yeah,
it's entertaining.
No, that's one of those like we just combined stuff because the decathlon, that's a bunch of like the traditional like throw the discus or throw it.
Or you saying they were like all individual things they were going to cut? They're like make it one thing.
Yeah, combine it. We don't need the skeet shooting as its own thing. Yeah, I will say, like, there are sports in the Summer Olympics I like boxing or like basketball, but they're not.
I didn't realize boxing was.
It is, but they don't show it that much, and 2, it's not the same. Like pro boxing, the rule set, everything is so much better that it's not really like a great version of it. So yeah, I'm compelled to agree. Like, I like the winter ones more. There's a bit more kitsch to it, a little bit more like novelty to some of the things.
Oh yeah, when I see people with what's the one with the
curling?
Fuck yeah! Whenever I see curling's on TV, I'm like, fuck yeah!
Oh yeah,
I'll watch some curling.
Yeah, pretty simple rules. You're gonna want to get that into the center there.
Real big cold shuffleboard, kinda.
All right, October 12th, 1960. Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev pounds his shoe on a desk at the United Nations to protest Philippine assertion. What's the silliest way you've ever seen somebody express their anger?
Reminds me of one time when I was visiting my grandparents in Arizona. My grandpa is a stressed driver. You know how like some people when they travel, they're just 10 with the stress. Like they go straight to 10. There's there's no build up. They're just instantly stressed out. That's my grandpa. Anytime he has to drive in the city. And he was taking me to a Diamondbacks game when I was like 12 maybe.
Oh God, that's a nightmare task for a person with that sort of issue.
And we're in a parking garage and the guy's telling my grandpa where to go, but there's 2 ways to go. And even though the guy's clearly pointing in one direction, somehow my grandpa's confused. And he just goes, "What are you doing, numb?" And he just said numb, and I was like, "What the fuck is numb?" Did you just quit halfway through numbskull, or did you mean to say dumbass and realize I was 12? What happened here?
I'm so mad that I cooked all the brain cells necessary to conclude the sentence.
I also love when people get so mad they just punch the air. That cracks me up.
Yeah, that's a good one. See, I thought you were going to say something different because the one I was going to go with this is a football specific one, but anytime you punch somebody in the helmet.
Yeah, always funny.
Because punching somebody makes sense. And not having the self-control, you're all riled up from a physical whatever, I kind of get it. But also, he's wearing a fucking helmet, dude.
Your hand's going to lose.
Also, there's been a staggering amount of dumb people have played football. I've only seen a few punch somebody in the helmet, which says to me, you can control this move.
Yeah, Cortland Finnegan's a genius.
Cortland Finnegan. If he had not chosen to play football, man, that guy was going to cure cancer. I just know it. He had the inside track on that. Until he got those ideas punched out of his head by Andre Johnson. All right, I mentioned baseball playoffs earlier, so last this week in history, we'll do a baseball question. October 14th, 2003, the Steve Bartman incident takes place at Wrigley Field. Did you watch that game? Were you watching that game?
There's nothing I want to watch less than the Cubs in the playoffs. So that's a hard fucking no. But I've never felt so bad for a Cubs fan in my life. As you know, I think they're the worst humans in all of sports. But
damn, above Philly fans. I know you had them ranked high, didn't they?
Again, it's the I'm gonna have to plant my flag on this one because I can't get past it. Them not knowing how to tailgate and accidentally setting the garbage cans in the Miller Park parking lot on fire.
Pretty funny. I mean, dangerous.
How dumb can you possibly be? And they're just not very nice. But I felt so bad for that guy. He's just doing what anybody else at a baseball game would do. He didn't really lean into the field of play. It was just borderline. Oh man, it's just such a shitty situation.
There's a great documentary, Catching Hell, one of the 30 for 30s, and it's made by a guy that usually is doing far bigger, the Theranos documentary, but he's done a couple sports ones, that included.
Didn't he go into witness protection?
I don't think he went into true witness protection. I think he still has his name, but he went into hiding of a very high level. He's very hard to reach.
If you were going to go into witness protection, what name would you choose?
Oh my God, name? I'm first name Brick for sure. First name is Brick.
Last name Mouse.
It's see. If you're in witness protection, do they want you to kind of go with a somewhat do they want you to go with a Johnson or a Smith, or can I get Polish? Gonna be like Bricks Brickowski or something?
Brickowski.
Brickowski.
Brickowski. Okay.
Brickowski. There's no way they're gonna let me do that sort of John Johnson shit.
I'm going Vladimir for sure, just because I look Russian.
Yeah, you think you could slap on a shitty Eastern European accent, and in Lake Stevens, are they going to be he doesn't sound Belarusian?
What is this guy, Chinese? I have no idea what the fuck.
You're right in the continent of Asia, I guess. Kind of.
True. There you go. It's closer than I thought. Lake Stevens, good job. I think I would be Vladimir Lyle McMurray. McMurray is classic here because I love Mick, actually a last name. McIlvain, it's the same type of deal, but Ulvain is not.
Right. You're saying
Mick or McCarthy.
Yeah, McMichael.
Yeah. Those ones crack me up. Well, you didn't need the Mick, just be Michael.
No, that's something where it's our village already had Michael, and it's well, now there's 10 Mick Michaels too. Now is somebody going to be Mick Michael?
Add an S at the end, McMichaels.
We're going to go back to the the phone book days where there's AAA gas because you wanted to beat out AA gas for the top spot. Vladimir, what was the middle name? Lyle.
Yeah.
All right, he's a Russian guy that's in IT. But yeah, Steve Bart, totally agree.
And Irish, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, really going all over the place. I do feel genuinely bad for that guy. In that documentary, they did a little rotoscoping thing where they removed everyone digitally and showed just him, and it's yeah, you could argue it, but it's still so close. It's not what was that kid? Jeffrey Mayer, the kid that reached over in 96 and pulled a Yankees. I think Jeter hit it, but it was going to hit off the top of the wall. I don't know if it could have been caught. I can't remember. But it definitely wasn't going out, and the kid reached well below and snagged it.
Yeah.
And that was one where it's okay, that is, there's an arm below the yellow line. There's no doubt here.
And that wasn't the left fielder Moises Alou?
Yes.
Didn't he say he had no chance to catch it?
Moises has always said that he, thought that he could have, because admittedly, and they talk about this in the documentary, he's like, yeah, I wasn't actually that great of a fielder. Because he wasn't. I mean, he's a career 300 hitter. No disrespect to Moises.
If I don't pretend like I was going to catch that might affect my contract. Yeah.
But he definitely said in the documentary that he felt very bad for, Bartman. And he's acknowledged that his own reaction to it had sort of contributed to the fan.
If a guy who pees on his own hands feels bad for you, oof, how low have you sunk?
That is a great question. Chris, do we have time for one more thing? I think we got 4 or 5 minutes here. So
I want to know how long is the Mike story about him being mad at your at how bad the cocaine was that he got from your 17-year-old friend.
Well, I think he tried to cook it up, which will immediately reveal how impure the cocaine is when you try to turn it into crack. And so, yeah, there's not that much of a story. He asked me to go secure this from one of my friends. It's like, you're asking a 17-year-old to get you cocaine.
You're asking your 17-year-old son to get you cocaine.
Yeah, which, hey, I mean, if the idea was I was going to put in some extra effort, I got to make Dad proud, I simply was not that guy.
Make sure this is pure.
I'm not your guy. I'm happy being the backup QB.
Just do regular cocaine, Dad.
Well, no, but your septum, you're talking about the whole nose thing.
True.
You can only...
True. Got to worry about your septum, not your heart.
That's... Yeah, so that was basically... That was the whole thing. I got, chewed out for that.
He got mad at you?
Oh, he was super mad at me. This shit fucking sucked, dude. I was like, I don't even know.
Go get your own drugs.
Yeah, right? The last time I do a favor for you. You son of a bitch. Also, let's talk about this qualitative issue as it pertains to other elements of our life, right? What did I have for dinner last night? McDonald's? Okay, this is the McDonald's of cocaine. There you go. What? I didn't go to a steakhouse last night. Why do you think you're getting fish scale shit? Get the fuck out of here.
I get hamburger helper, you son of a bitch.
What kind of money do you think you kick down here? God damn it. Also, we live in Ballard. We're not in Colombia, what do you think my access to cocaine that hasn't been thoroughly stepped on is at the age of 17? Again.
Right.
It is sort of like a parabola, though. Cocaine you can get at 17, really bad. Cocaine I can get at my age, now that I haven't done it in years, and I'm 32, really bad. There were a few years there, though, man. Those were my, Brady Anderson hitting 50 home run kind of years.
Yeah.
Those glory days are over.
Well, you got to maintain your connections, Cole.
I know. This is what it means when you're not keeping up with your friends. And I go to therapy now, but... Didn't back then. So you win some, you lose some.
Well, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
That was another fun and completely pointless episode. We love all you guys for listening. I don't know. Do we have anything else to say?
Oh, Dame and Giannis how to play.
Oh my God, we should rehash. How, dude? The fucking I've been wearing Buck stuff like crazy since this happened. Which I mean, I kind of do that anyway.
Yeah.
But and also I wore this for a reason. A couple episodes I talked about how people have house slippers or a house jacket or something.
Yeah.
This is my house Michael Red jersey. This is what I go get the mail in every day.
Yeah.
So I ran into the mailman
this
today.
This is your robe equivalent.
We met at the mailbox, and he was like, "Oh, Damian Lillard, huh?" You guys and I just fucking melted, dude. I love people have been start chanting in the street. Bucks at 6. People have been talking to me about it even more than when we won the championship. Just random people, and oh my God, I'm so excited.
Good for you,
Dan
man.
looked so good. We're not gonna
First
talk.
made basket was a 3.
We're not gonna talk about a bunch of preseason basketball, but
all right.
Bucks and 6. Bring the Sonics back, and thank you guys for listening.
Yeah. On to episode 30.